Good morning, beloveds. So the goal is to not cough and to get through this without losing my voice. We'll see. I did bring my water with me today, so hopefully that'll help. And obviously, I called the boss, and he didn't answer. So I sent him a text message and then called the boss's wife, who also works in my mortgage-paying job. And she just laughed and said, he's in the shower. And she said, yeah, no, I can hear it in your voice. And I'm like, so, and then she told me, because one of my coworkers is going to be out tomorrow, and tomorrow's one of our super days. She told me that, because one of my coworker has a funeral to go to, but her daughter, who has worked for us for like 4 years before she got married and moved out into the hinterlands, decided she wanted to work. I guess her mom told her that, hey, you know what, I'm not going to be there. And so it makes me feel better, so that if I call tomorrow, because I still don't have a voice, and they're like, nope, stay home, then I'm not leaving them completely uncovered, because they would rather have me get well and come back than come back too soon and relapse. So, oh, wow. Yep. Okay. Let me grab a sip of water here. Ooh. There's a little lemon and trace minerals in that too. So, I'm all about the making sure that I'm doing the best I can for myself. Okay. It is April 16th. Our title is Life, a Ministry. And our author is Emilie Cady. Cady, C-A-D-Y. This is from God, a Present Help from 1938. And she's from Unity. So, if you're interested in her stuff, go to unity.org. Okay, she starts off with a quote from Jesus. So, whosoever would become great among you shall be your minister, and whosoever would be first among ye shall be your servant, even as the child of humanity came not to be ministered to, but to minister, and to give, even as Jesus came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life as a ransom for many. Okay, I don't agree with that quote, but we've talked about that before. I mean, I do agree that he came to minister, not to be ministered to. So, it's the ransom part that I don't agree with. All right, so, looked at from a purely commercial standpoint, the life of Jesus Christ was a failure. His place in the world was obscure, his occupation a humble one, the work of his hands commanded only the usual recompense. From the world's point of view, his contribution was merely that of an average man. Even after his public life began, he seemingly failed just as signally as before. He made himself of no reputation among men. In the field where his greatest visible success lay, the delivering of men from sorrow and trouble, he sometimes failed. He saved others, himself he cannot save, they cried when deriding him, all the way to his ignominious death. He stood before self-satisfied men, chief priests, and Pharisees as a failure. Why? Because he and these men were living from entirely different standpoints. Men were living largely from the external. Jesus was living from within. Men were reckoning success then as the world reckons success today, largely in terms of numbers and figures and the possession of external things. After 2,000 years, we can see that the life of Jesus Christ, lived so obscurely, so unostentatiously, really, was not the failure that it seemed, that he was living a life that in the long run was the only successful one. For today, when his contemporaries have passed away and are forgotten, his life stands forth among men and within men as the inspiration of all love, and all goodness, the inspiration of all success. All right, I didn't know what I was going to get when I read that one. I don't pre-read these. Like, I'm reading them live, which is why I'm like complaining about the ransom part in that opening quote. But I would say that the greatest point that she just made was that we tend to live our lives from the outside. That we get focused on numbers and figures and material things. And we forget to live our life from the outside in. And I've heard Reverend Jesse talk about this many, many times. Many, many times. Yeah, because that's the whole point of New Thought. That is the whole point of Jesus' teaching, was to live from the within out. There's I hate to call him a cartoonist, an illustrator. I don't know what to call him. But he's called the Naked Pastor, and he does a lot of religious, cartoons, mostly skewering the problems within Christianity. He's very LGBT friendly, and one of his cartoons, one of his panels that I really, really love, he's got two that are my favorite. I'll tell you the other one first so that I can make my point. So one of them that I love is there's a whole bunch of people and they all have pencils. And everybody is drawing lines, except for Jesus. Jesus has the pencil turned around and he's erasing the lines. Okay. If you know anything about me, you would understand why I love that. Okay. Now, the other one that he has that I really, really love is it's a conversation between two people. When I saw it the other day, it happened to be a conversation between a man and a woman. And it was talking about why do we use the Bible to determine, why do we use scripture to determine what love is? And then the other person says, why don't we use love to determine what the scriptures mean? And that's the point that Jesus came to make. He says, I come not to break the laws, but to fulfill the laws in love. So he didn't come to take any of the laws away. What he came to do was say, what you need to do is look at the laws from the point of view of love. We talk about the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. And his point is that the spirit of the law should be love. And so that's what we mean by living from within. If you are living from within, then your material, so we can go back to the Buddhist idea of attachment. The Buddhists don't say not to own anything. What they say is don't let anything own you. So all of your material possessions, if you're more worried about them than, than the richness of your relationships, then your stuff owns you. Okay? And that's always been, I agree with Raymond Charles Barker that the idea of prosperity is being able to do what I want, when I want, how I want. Okay? I get that. And that does require money. But the other way to look at the richness of your life is your relationships, your experiences, that kind of stuff. And I can give you an example. And the richness of one of my relationships is my relationship with what I like to call my mortgage-paying job. Yes, I call it my mortgage-paying job because it literally pays my mortgage. But there are a variety of reasons that I love my mortgage paying job. One, I am of service to people. It is my job to help people support their immune systems and what have you, support their bodies in doing their job. Even I can't run fast enough sometimes to outrun whatever, so it's like, apparently I needed a break, hence here we are. But, I have that richness of relationships with a number of customers. Like, the customers come in, I know their name, they know my name. We talk about stuff that we're, in our lives. We're involved in each other, with each other. And I care about them and they care about me. And the owners of the store, because it's it's a mother and son, and then the son's wife. Those are the three owners of the store. They care about their employees. When I called him on Sunday night, he was like, oh, I'm not a cog in the wheel. What she said to me when I called her this morning is, and she let me know, hey, you know what? We've got tomorrow covered if you're not well enough. And she said, we probably won't do as well as if we had you there, but it's more important to them that I get well than to have me there on that sale day. That is a richness of life. And the owner of the store, the mom, does talk about, this is her ministry. When she didn't get the help she needed from Western medicine, she turned to this industry, got the help, and then she was like, well, you know what? Now I'm going to pay it forward by providing this to people, so that she got into the industry. She got the help from the industry and she got into the industry. And honestly, a lot of us that end up in this industry we come into it because we needed help. We needed help that we weren't getting. And so it is a ministry. It is a ministry. We are ministering to people. And honestly, you don't have to have a practitioner's license to be a practitioner. You don't have to have a minister's license to be a minister. Now, there are things that, legally you have to have the license to do. But sometimes the best ministers in your life aren't ministers. They are the people that show up and listen and sit with you. They show up in your darkness and they sit with you. They don't try and fix you. They don't try and fix you, but they sit with you and they listen and they hold you in their heart. And they hold space for you until you remember who you are. Oh, my nose is trying to run. So, life, a ministry, that's what it means to live from within out. That's what it means. To show up for people and to sit with them in their darkness, to open your heart to people. You don't have to have a license to do that. You have to have a license to marry people. I don't even think you have to have a license to bury people, but you have to have a license to marry people. And I know a number of practitioners that have prison ministries, and the license is helpful for that. So, but some of the best ministers out there honestly have 4 legs and fur. So, because they lead with love. And if you take nothing else from Jesus' life, that is the important thing. He never had much more than the clothes on his back. He was a carpenter by trade. That's what his father was. Joseph was a carpenter. He was a carpenter by trade. He never had much more than the clothes on his back. He did depend on people to feed him. And they did. They fed him, they clothed him, they gave him places to stay, because he had a message that was worth hearing. And when he showed up, he helped people. And honestly, one of the most helpful things that you can do is love people where they're at. Pontius Pilate's name we remember. But the Pharisees that convicted him, We don't know their names. And that should tell you something. 2,000 years later, we're still talking about this man and his message. And his message was not that he was going to ransom us from our sin. His message was that he could save us from our sin if we would learn to love. If we would lead with love. If we would lead with love, all things are possible. All right. I don't want to lose my voice. So, although it's holding up pretty good today, good news for tomorrow. All right. Let me glance back at Cady and make sure that I did her justice. Okay, so the last line. Jesus' life stands forth among people and within people as the inspiration of all love and all goodness and the inspiration of all success. The mission today, should we choose to accept it, look with love. Look with love. You know, there were these, what would Jesus bracelets going around? What would Jesus do bracelets going around? Well, Jesus would love. That is what he would do. So that is the mission today. The other mission is the same mission I give you every day, which is the spiritual practice of self-care. If life is a ministry, as Miss Cady said, then you cannot pour from an empty cup. Make sure that you are taking care of yourself, which is exactly what I'm doing today, what I did yesterday, what I did on Sunday. You know, I'm drinking plenty of fluids and resting. And I'm going to go rest my voice. So here's where, you know, do something loving for yourself. Do something kind for yourself. Do something compassionate for yourself. Whatever that looks like for you. You are your own best test subject, but most importantly, you deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. All right. All right. Woo. Yeah, I know. I'm going to wrap this up. The housekeeping. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark on the social medias. I am the Running Rev Ryan on the social medias. One of the cheapest ways that you can support us, the easiest ways you can support us, is to like, subscribe, follow, and share and comment on our social media posts. That bumps us in the algorithms. We appreciate that because we think we have a good message and we'd like to get it out there. So if you want to know what's going on at the center, please email info@creativelife.org. That'll get you on the constant contact, and then that way you'll know what's going on even when I don't. All right. I'm still going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day. Drink plenty of fluids day, a make room for joy day, a lead with love day, a live life from within day, a get to know the source of your own being day, a hydrate your voice day, a get better day, a enjoy your four-legged with fur ministers day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are spirit in motion, God in action, a brilliant light, a divine spark, or as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godly. All right? Explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be. Because the only promise I can make you, is the person that the divine knows you to be is good. And from there, all things are possible. All right, beloveds. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. And I will see you next time.